Hey guys, it's Kamzy and welcome back to another video. So today we will be doing a Sims 4 speed build and we will be building a plant lover's apartment. And this apartment is about 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and it cost around 36,000 simoleons. So it's relatively affordable and you could definitely earn this in The Sims without cheating. So it's not overpriced, and I definitely did better this time than I did with most of my builds, because a lot of the times I kind of forget that I try to make my homes affordable to an extent so you can actually have them as like a starter home or something. And I wind up making the home cost like 100,000, 200,000, even like 60,000 is a bit too much for a starter home. Well, a bit. It's like 3 times the cost of a starter home. So I apologize when I make my build so expensive so that you guys couldn't download it until you either play for a minute or you have to cheat for the money. I do apologize for that. But this build is only 36,000 simoleons. So if you start a new save and you play for like an hour or two, and especially if you do the painting or if you write books or something, you could definitely earn this in a very short amount of time and definitely get this apartment. So it's not too bad price range, but for some reason I decided to start out with the bathroom and forget to do the lights for a minute like I always do. Also, in this build, I decided to utilize half walls as a divider between the living room and the kitchen and then like the dining room, which is not something I do much, and I definitely think that it was definitely a very good idea because it really made the space feel more separate and not like it was all just one big box, which is what it really was in reality. But since that half wall was there, it made it feel like there was some separation and like it was actually 2 different rooms when it really wasn't. But it felt like there was enough separation and not too much. And with this TV, I really wanted to do like a custom built-in like under cabinet thing with those cabinets from Dream Home Decorator, but I just felt like they were kind of too like big for the space. Also, I wanted to keep the home like under 40,000 simoleons, and they were kind of expensive, so I decided to just not use it and go with this like end table dresser thing from Parenthood instead of those Dream Home Decorator cabinets, which, just to be honest, made a lot more sense for the build. Also, originally this build was not actually supposed to be like a green sanctuary. Originally it was supposed to be just like a normal modern apartment, but then I saw that green wallpaper and I was like, I have to actually use this for some reason. So I decided to just make it work and just go all into that green wallpaper. This whole apartment is basically themed after one wallpaper, but I decided to just go all in with that wallpaper and make the apartment a total plant haven and super green. Even the other like painted walls are green. There's a lot of green in every room. Everything is just very plant themed in this apartment. So I'm just gonna get sidetracked for a minute. The Sims 4 literally needs more small apartments like this. This is not even that small. In New York City, you would still be paying like $3,000 a month for something like this. This is really not that small. I'm saying like, think of like Penny Pizzazz's apartment, but like an actual studio. Like the size of this main room minus some. I want an apartment in this game that has enough space to wall off a bathroom, put in a Murphy bed, and like a little kitchenette, and that's it. And like, you have to make it work. That would be so fun to have in this game. I just wish they had some more realistic apartments, because if you look at those apartments in San Myshuno, they're so unrealistically large. Like even like the small ones are not even small. Although there is that one apartment, I think it's at something Culpeper House, like it's a bunch of numbers and then Culpeper House. That one is pretty tiny, except it has horrible lot traits. But I mean, that's not too bad. And then there's this super, super tiny pink one. That one is the smallest one in the game. I'm pretty sure. I'm not exactly sure. It might not be the smallest apartment, but I'm pretty sure it's the smallest one. We need like some more apartments like that. Also, I believe it's actually occupied, so you can't even play there without deleting the household. Like, we need a couple apartments that are at least unoccupied and super, super tiny, that like you have to like fit things in like a Tetris game or a puzzle. But anyways, I'm working on the kitchen right now because honestly, no matter what I did, it felt kind of empty. So I spent a really long time in real life on this kitchen until eventually I got it to work. It just felt kind of empty and like it was lacking something. but I didn't want to like waste too much counter space because I know you don't need to, but I always like to have at least 2 free counters if I have the space available, because it just seemed more realistic to want a little more counter space that's also functional, because in real life it'd be really difficult to just cook on one tiny counter piece like that, so you would definitely want more space. But I wanted it to still feel full, so I added a bunch of decorations, like those pots and pans on the walls. Eventually I added an island and some hanging like pots on it, and it looks like normal. It's just for a little while it takes me time to make it look like less boring how it kind of looks now, but eventually it'll look better. And I know right now it doesn't look like there's that many plants in the apartment, but as it kind of comes together, there's a lot more and more plants, and I keep going back to spaces and adding more and more plants, because like I said, originally this wasn't supposed to be like a super planty apartment. I kind of just like ran with the wallpaper and wanted everything to be super planty. And I know you can see in this space there's a ton of plants, but there's even more eventually as it goes on, because it gets really ridiculous, and I actually had to play test things just to make sure all the Sims could actually get around all the plants, because there's just so many plants in this apartment. But I honestly really love it, and if you have like a botanist or whatever your Sim is, as long as it's something to do with plants, this would be the perfect place for your Sim to live, because I just imagine it being like a plant like haven for that Sim. This would be like their dream home, because there's so many plants here, and that's their dream job, their aspiration. So they're basically living in like an urban garden kind of, except, well, this isn't exactly the city, but it's close enough. I realized I've been saying planty a lot in this video, and I just realized that I don't even know if that's a word, but that's fine. Anyways, I added in an island and this little dining nook. Also, I added in those aprons there, which honestly I really loved. I should have changed the color now that I'm looking back on it, because they're literally like McDonald's colors, which I absolutely hated, but that's fine. I also added in those pots and plants, like pots and plants. I added in those pots and pans, like I said earlier, and those definitely came in well together. So as you can see though, I'm adding a lot more plants and things to this apartment. I wasn't too crazy about the rug under the dining table. I spent an embarrassing amount of time for like just a rug, and I just kind of this whole time was like looking at it with like the side of my eye, because I just couldn't decide if I liked it or not, because I really didn't. But I was like, well, am I gonna just leave nothing there? In real life it would have been fine and it wouldn't look dumb, but in The Sims, when you're looking from an overhead view, it just looks really empty and like boring. So you really have to add something under the dining room table, which obviously you would add a rug, because like what else are you gonna put under a dining room table? But I just really couldn't get it to work, and it just looks so dumb and awkward. But I wound up just keeping it, because honestly that's the best it was gonna get. Even though it looks weird and like there's too many rugs in this small space, it was just the best it could possibly get. Like, it's a lot better than having no rug, but I feel like it may have been better to do something a little different. I just really do not know what I would have done instead of putting a rug under the table. Also guys, I would really love to do a let's play, so definitely let me know which kind of let's play you would like me to do. I was thinking maybe a 100 baby challenge, but I'm not exactly sure if that's what I want to do. Honestly, I'm open to anything. We could do a 100 baby challenge, a legacy challenge, get rich quick challenge, runaway teen challenge. I am genuinely open to doing any challenge, so definitely let me know in the comments what challenge you think I should do, because I'm not exactly sure or dead set on one. If I had to say right now, I would do a 100 baby challenge, but I am totally open to doing a different challenge. So guys, definitely let me know in the comments what challenge you think I should do, because I really want to do a let's play. But anyways, now I'm kind of finishing up the main area, and I'm about to start the bedroom. I really liked the bedroom, not as much as the rest of the house, but I think it came together really nice in the end. It's not exactly my number one space, but it's not horrible. And there's definitely the plant theme in there, don't worry. It's a bit tight, and I felt like I definitely could have added an extra tile or two, but then the other part of the house would be too tight, and the bedroom isn't exactly where you have company. Also, the plant theme isn't too strong in here. There's like plant pictures and like a bunch of plants still. It's just there's not that much space. so I couldn't fit that many plants. And the bedroom isn't too tight, it's just a little tight. To be honest, in your Sims build, this is like a normal size bedroom. In real life, this would be really tight because it's just enough space for like a bed and a dresser and like a rug, maybe like a plant or something. But in the Sims, it's like normal sized because you just like do everything else in the other part of the house. In real life, you might want to lay in bed, watch TV, maybe like have like a little desk in your bedroom or something. But in The Sims, you don't really have space for that in a lot of cases because typically bedrooms aren't too large and they feel a bit awkward if they're really large. So a lot of the times, Simmers just really focus on like the rest of the house, and the bedroom is kind of just like where they sleep. It still looks nice, it's cute, it's nicely decorated. I still think it looks really great. It's just a little bit like small for real life, but it still looks great, so it's not really that big of a concern of mine. I was just a little bit concerned because I always put realism in my build to a very high standard. I know this isn't exactly the most realistic apartment, but I like it to be as realistic as possible. Like, as you see here, I'm putting storage under there because that's a realistic thing you might do. Considering this apartment is pretty tight, you would put storage under a spot like that, and it is a bit over decorated. I would say that in real life you might not have this many decorations, but again, it's The Sims, so everything's gonna look a bit different than it will in real life. It's kind of just inevitable, but I still like to have things as realistic as possible. Like I said, it's pretty much impossible to have a totally realistic build in The Sims, but it's possible to at least maintain some realism without it being like awkward, because if you try and make things too realistic in The Sims, they just look dumb, because things that would look normal in real life look really weird in The Sims. And a lot of the time people build these perfect houses with all these things and clutter placed in like perfect positions. A lot of the time, if you have clutter, it's not meant to be designable. Like in The Sims, we have all this clutter and stuff to look good, but in real life, clutter is not meant to look good, and it really just looks dirty. Everyone wants those dream Pinterest apartments, which I kind of feel with this. It's just very green, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just that it takes a certain type of Sim to play in this apartment, or else it might feel strange. Like if Nancy Landgrab was going to play in this apartment, it would just feel so unnatural, because let's be real, Nancy isn't exactly the most eco-friendly lady out there. But anyways, guys, we're at about the last 45 seconds of the video, so right now I'm just adding in some more plants and decorations, but I'm pretty much finishing up, because the main idea of the house is done. It's just certain areas felt a little bit empty, so I decided to add in a few more little things like decorations, ornaments, wall pieces, paintings, all those things I just needed to add, because I felt like it's just a little bit empty. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have an excellent day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!